Hey y'all, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Toolizzforyou, Toolizzforyou.
And I'm cpredmor on Ravelry, and I've been posting semi-regularly as Knitting in Our Jeans on Instagram. I told you I was going to do better. I did worse. What can I tell you?
Hey, I posted a catch-up post today. I will have to post a catch-up post. Oh, this is for February.
Yes.
Tomorrow, and then Tuesday probably, because I fell behind. I fell a full week behind.
I'm not catching up. If I'm lucky, else. Well, first of all, that was sip and knit, and I don't sip and knit.
You drink tea?
I drink Nest tea out of cans, and I felt showing cans was a bit de trop. So,
I'm going to put a tea mug, because I haven't been...
Well, a tea mug, yes, but,
okay.
You know, I do use my huge...
You do, and you did show that off.
I always showed that, so it's like to show it again seemed a little silly. So
okay.
Anyway, that's why I didn't post yesterday, because I looked. I think that was yesterday. Yeah, so I'll look and see what today is.
Gratitude. Because today is the last day of February.
Yes, it is. And we've had so much snow in February that I am in deep gratitude that it is the last day. Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. And our Animal Crossing islands have already switched over to spring.
They have. They did that. Well, mine, it took 2 days. God bless you. The lower levels were snowless. God bless you. But when I moved my house, it was still snow up there. And then the second day, it was all spring. So, big doings in Animal Crossings.
Oh, yes. So what have you been working on this week, Mom?
I've been working on 2 things.
Okay.
First, I did what I said I was going to do. I worked on my socks. Sorry, the hair's going to get cut.
In a month.
Yes.
Both of our hairs are going to get... I mean, so
both
you can probably tell we chopped off a good 6 to 8 inches here. Because it was way too heavy.
It was giving her headaches.
Well, we think it was making my migraines worse.
Right.
And
how do you feel today?
Well, but I mean, with the rain and not so great, but better than I would have probably.
And mine is, you can tell humidity is coming back in the atmosphere because I'm starting to get a little kinky, a little wavy. And I remember from last summer that this hair, I'm lucky. I mean, this is, again, first world problems. I have a lot of hair. A ton of hair. And it's not something that you normally complain about at my age. Many women are complaining about thinning hair. Well, if my hair thinned, it didn't thin much. Fine. But it means it's hot under here. It's like I could have heat stroke under the hair, which means that most of the time I'm pulling it back, which when I look in the mirror, it makes me look like my grandmother, which to me is not a good look. It looks like my grandmother when she was hanging up the wash. So it wasn't her going to church look. It wasn't her going to work look when she looked pretty good. It was her, let me go out in my shorts and hang up the wash in the summertime look. And I'm like, I don't like that look. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. So I had a discussion with my husband. And I said, I think I'm going to get it cut short. He says, well, you better talk to Hervé.
Look at him
see
learning.
What Hervé says. And he says, and so you think you're going to color it? I said, no, I don't think so. I said, I have been growing this out for almost 2 years because I don't want to be bothered with coloring it. I really don't. I mean, with luck, we'll be able to travel-ish, you know? Yeah. And you can get someone who will burn your hair when you're trying to be blonde. And if we're in second world countries, I doubt that we'll be in a third world country, but second world countries, you can go to a salon where they might not know what the heck they're doing with my hair and end up with a disaster. So I said, no, I'm not coloring it. Not. Sorry.
Because I'm a man who's had white hair my entire life.
Right.
Yep. Okay.
Well, because he looks at me and feels older.
Oh, well.
That's what it is.
I'm sorry to say you both are retired. You're old.
I don't think the color looks bad. I'm pretty happy with it.
But also, you both are retired. You both are old.
I could see maybe getting something I just shampoo in.
Okay.
You know, where I can take care of it and you can order it through the mail or something like that. That's a possibility. And I'll talk to Hervé about that. So, we made appointments for 4 weeks from now, which will be 3 weeks after my second shot. So I should be able to go in and out of places without becoming deathly ill. So that's really good. So yes.
And we have gotten to the point with my hair that it's causing physical pain, and so we're just going to cut it all off. Not all of it off, but like we're going back to super short again.
Which looks cute.
It does, and I just... Yes, we are both going to be very careful about it. We're going to drive in together, and we will wear masks and distance while at the salon. But this has also been something, we've discussed doing for a while, and something we've put off doing because...
Yes, because we talked about doing it in August when the salon opened again.
Yeah, because of taking precautions and stuff, and we've seen the salon is taking a lot of precautions. They are not allowing people to come in with an auxiliary person unless they have an appointment too, which is why we're able to go together. If we hadn't been, then would have gone separately. But I should be
as well protected as can be, as is possible with the vaccines. So
yeah, and that was kind of our biggest concern,
right? Because you all have heard me with pneumonia.
And again, everyone take your own precautions. Live as you can. I think this is our riskiest behavior we will have done.
Yeah, but I also see that in the spring, maybe driving down later, towards warmer weather, driving down to see my brother and sister-in-law in their new house, which will be 9 months old by the time I get there. And starting to see people, seeing my mom, who got her second shot Friday? Thursday? Something like that.
Yeah.
So she's had both her shots. She seems fine.
Yeah.
So we've kept her well, and that I think is critically important. So anyway, I worked on my socks, and I've got a little bit to go. Now I've noticed that I was pretty much matching in my stripy colors down here at the bottom, but somewhere along here, the colors are just drifting a little. So I've got more purple at this edge than I do at this edge, and I think it's just a matter of the dyeing that had gone on. But I'm very happy. What I do to determine the length of my leg is I fold it at the heel and then see where the matching length would be. And I actually want to do my stockinette to the toe and then do a 2-inch cuff.
Nice.
So that's my plan at the moment. So it's really moving along. I like to do this when I've gotten cross-eyed from doing the cross stitch.
Reasonable.
Because I can do this without really looking at it. And it works out really, really well. So, this is the Muststash Yarn that comes in 2 50-gram balls, and therefore you don't have to worry about running out, especially with a toe-up sock. You don't have to worry about running out of yarn.
Or it not matching.
And I know how long I want to make them, which is 2 inches past the double over size. So I figure I have about 11 colors to go. And it reminds me of, I don't know, spring and cotton candy and stuff like that. And I know cotton candy's pink, but it just seems like a happy color to me.
Well, cotton candy can also be white and can also be blue.
Anyway, just like a spring fair.
So I finished
look at that.
The main entrelac part of the blanket.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you. It is about, unblocked and unstretched, it is about 23 to 25 inches wide. And it's definitely, well, let's see, what is it? Let's hold it. Well, it's at least a yard. So it's at least 36 inches long.
It looks like it's 5. Hold it in both arms.
Well, this stretched gets to just over a yard. So this is, I mean, I'd say, well, we'll see. I'm going to put an edging on it.
4 feet.
Yeah, I'm going to put an edging on it and then run it through the washer and dryer and see what happens. And then maybe iron it a little bit. Not so that it loses all of its bubbliness, but so that it maybe so it's not like that, but so that it's like that maybe.
Nice. Yeah.
So right now I am taking the darkest color and I am picking up with that to see how much yarn that uses. Because I think I'm going to do, so because the pattern calls for a crocheted edge and I'm not so proficient at my crochet, I pulled out my Stittionary number 6, which is at edgings. And I looked and I have a few of them marked, but I think what I want to do is a double picot.
It's really pretty.
Which is right here. So if I can get one garter ridge out of the darker color, and then I do a garter ridge, and then the picot out of the lightest color, that would be nice. But I know how much, I have 11 grams of the darkest color, and I have 22 grams of the lightest color.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the pickup, and then we'll see how much yarn that uses, and we'll do math from there. Because a picot uses about
3 times.
I was going to say about 3 times as much yarn as a regular bind off.
And the fewer picots you do,
yeah,
the less yarn you use.
Right. So I might end up doing a single picot, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Depending on, again, yardage. I also might call the yarn shop and see if they've got another skein of the lightest color. Because I think it'll be worth it.
Where'd you get it?
Knit.
Good.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at with this blanket. It should be done. Well, I'm considering it pretty much done today. Because I should be able to finish picking up the edge today, and it'll be done.
We're gonna watch
the Golden Globes.
That's right. They're on starting 7 o'clock tonight, so that's why we're recording early.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, but this has been what I've worked on most of this week. I've had a niggling migraine still, and yesterday was kind of a wash for me. Yesterday I was severe pain, and that's, or not yesterday, Friday, at which point I texted my mother and I said, "You're cutting off my hair." Because when you hit a point with your migraines where you're like, anything to give me relief, it's not fun. So I hit that point on Friday, and we did it. I'm still playing with it, but it's going to be much shorter in about a month. Which
we did it outside in the backyard.
Yes.
Started at 6 inches and then just pretty much went across the back, taking small handfuls at a time, and then evened it up a bit. And you put it in pigtails, and they were even.
Yeah, and it looks pretty even just generally.
So it worked out pretty well. So that's good. So the other thing...
Yeah, what else have you been working on?
I have been working on this.
Yes.
And you can see that I've gotten some moved over here. But you also see my sky is gone. So I ordered the DMC.
Okay.
That came in. And then this...
is the ripped out
This
stuff?
is what I picked out. And this is the DMC. And it is pretty close.
It's pretty close, yeah.
So, now, why did I rip it out if it's that close? Well, one, with yarns and dye lots, and from my dress or tunic that I'm, semi-involved in embroidering, that when you get a different dye lot, even though it looks pretty close in the individual pieces, once it's in a mass, it can look very different. So I didn't want that. And I had been saving a piece or two of the original, to kind of blend in. And I said, this is silly. Just take it out. I bought enough. I bought 10 of these things. So that I have more than enough. I could do the entire cross stitch in it, and it would be fine. So I have enough that I didn't have to worry about running out of thread. And then I decided to actually do what the instructions said to do, which is to do a half cross. Well, you had been talking about how it looks kind of meager. But then I looked at it, and it's sky, and since the cloth itself is semi-colored, that it helps go from dense at the bottom to really a much lighter and less dense weight at the top.
To me, it looks off because it's not what you would expect.
True. Yeah.
So.
And since I would have had to pay for shipping,
anyways,
I bought a collection of DMC. I really wanted to buy a collection of their Williamsburg colors, but they were out. So this is a collection of their popular colors. There's, I think, 36. Yes, 36 colors in here.
Nice.
Variegated. So I've got plenty to fill in for a bunch of different things. So I'm really pleased with that. So this continues to move apace. Quite happy. I bought another shirt pattern, which I left downstairs. You know, we talk about our sewing or my sewing, various things, and nothing seems to happen. Well, I realized that I want to wait till I lose another 6 pounds, which will bring me down to 180. And in the past, that meant that I could wear things like coats, etc., from there down to 150 easily. They tend to look a little baggy at 140, but in this life, if I get down to 140, then I'll just buy all new again. So what the heck? So I've been working on this. I'm losing somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 pound a week. You know, so it keeps going. And so I figure I don't know, by May, I should be down around 180, and I'll be able to start making some of those shirts, the tunic shirts for the summer.
Yep,
so,
and then we can bust out some leggings.
And maybe even the raincoat. So I didn't buy the raincoat that I saw on.
I'm very proud of you.
I know. It was very close, but it was a really light color, and I tend to walk into greasy things when I've got light colors on. So this is some of what came in the mail and what I've been working on. And I'm really very pleased with the cross stitch. I'm having such a ball with it. I'm having such a ball that I went online.
Of course. So
because go ahead.
So I've also been working on just the other side of the welts of the Pengweeno.
You figured it out.
I did. I figured it out. So I will hopefully be able to pick this back up a little bit more swiftly once this blanket is done. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break till the next blanket.
This is the one with the babies here.
No. Babies here is the one that needs to be washed, and I just haven't washed it yet.
Ah, okay.
This is for a baby that is due in June.
Okay.
And the next blanket is for also a baby due in June. So I figured I would get one of them done.
Right. And you should just put the other one in the wash and get that.
Yeah, I should.
Anyway, when I was going online to find this, I saw where was I? I was in Etsy, I was on the DMC site, I was in a bunch of places looking for that particular color, and a number of things came up referencing the Bayer Tapestry. Now, the Bayer Tapestry is a tapestry that is about 1.5 feet tall and 975 feet long, that was commissioned by William the Conqueror's brother, her half-brother, the Bishop of Bayeux, and it was made to go around the top of the columns holding up the cathedral in Bayeux. And I kept looking at this stuff, and it kept saying, well, from the Sajou Museum. And I said, well, I'm just going to look at the Sajou Museum and see what they have in their museum store. They had a counted cross-stitch. This is, of course, one of the larger ones because I can't help myself. And what did you say? It was 75 by 75?
70 by 70 centimeters.
Yes. So it's on linen. And so I will have to mark it out.
Yes.
I will actually probably hand wash the linen and let it dry just to.
Yeah. And then you're going to want to bind.
I'll whip stitch it. I'll certainly whip stitch it because otherwise it'll come apart. Because it can get dirty when you work on it. But this is what it is. It is a depiction, or it's pieces of
the Bayeux Tapestry.
The entire Bayeux Tapestry. Certainly not the entire Bayeux Tapestry itself, but individual pieces, and the sole woman figure or female figure on the Bayeux Tapestry is included in this. So where is she? She is right there. Yes. I have been enthralled by the Bayeux Tapestry since I read about it, and then even more since I saw it the first time. They have done the latest renovation, according to the instructions, in 1983. And it's in a museum where it's absolutely beautifully lit up. So if you get a chance to go, please go. I can tell you that within the museum, there apparently now is a focus on lace and lace making. That was not there when we were there the last time. So if and when we get back to Bayeux, believe me, I'm going to take a look at the lace too. The idea of having our vaccinations opens up the possibility of travel. And I can see my husband is getting more active in getting the house ready and doing all kinds of things because his second shot comes on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. And he's getting itchy feet.
Ish. I don't know. I don't know. He does this every spring, though. Like, this is not unusual.
He's going back to regular behavior.
But it's no different than how he was last spring when he was worried about the beginning of the pandemic. So we'll see.
He's not that
It
worried.
also depends on, regulations for other countries and
I
what
can tell you that I have a frequent flyer Marriott number, and Marriott keeps sending me these little emails going, for when you feel comfortable about traveling again. And they gave me a whole breakdown on the number of their hotels that we guarantee you'll get results in like a half a day. We do testing. We're more than happy to have you, yada, yada, yada. So I think that as more people get vaccinated, it will be opening up.
Okay.
So we will see.
I'm not getting my hopes up because I've lived in this world only 31 years, and every time I get my hopes up about these kinds of global issues, y'all fail me. So
not our knitters.
The world fails me.
This is like a map. All right. We'll get it. Yes, I've got it. So anyway, I'm not looking at any more counter cross stitch. I have gotten... You
have said you weren't going to do that for
I know, but this just thrills me. The yarn here is half wool, half polyamide, which is what they call...
acrylic.
Yes, thank you. And I'm just thrilled. I am just thrilled. I am like floating over the moon, beyond the stars. I am thrilled.
She is very excited.
I am very excited.
It's kind of hilarious. Like, I wish y'all understood how excited this woman is.
There's certain things that you see them and they just really touch you and you really can't say exactly why. I can tell you the original tapestry is so brilliant in its colors that I couldn't believe it's 1,000 years old. I mean, it's just like... And we were talking in one of our church book clubs about things left behind. And one of the things left behind is Christ's burial cloth. And I've been lucky to see it. And I'm not Catholic, I'm Episcopalian. So I couldn't say that it's been termed a holy religious object. But we were there. I was in Italy for a conference. Richard met me. Being able to see the Shroud of Turin was free. It wasn't going to cost anything. The only thing they were doing were giving you reservation time so that they weren't, like a whole horde of people at, say, 11 o'clock when they had no one coming in at 8 o'clock. And we decided to get an early time because we were getting to Turin the night before not the night before that. So the penultimate evening. So we had time to walk around Turin. We had time to go into the museum store before we actually saw the shroud. And that way we could get out of Turin and on up to the next stop pretty easily. And as I mentioned in the book club, I stood there and I'm looking at this cloth and I don't know that anything's happening to me until I come out and I go like this. And I realize tears have been running down my face, and actually the neck of my shirt is wet. So something happened, and I'm really not sure what. It's a fascinating presentation if you ever have the chance to go and see it. And if you are religious at all, or you're interested in history at all, it might be a thing to put on your list. Our minister said, well, they can't prove it is whatever. I went, you're right, they can't. And they make mention of that. They can trace it back to the 1300s, but before that, its provenance becomes really murky.
Well, and she said that also about
in Turkey, there's a shrine to Mary.
And she was like, this woman walked this far, and you're saying this amount of time?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But that doesn't detract from the fact that she happened to have a religious experience there. Or, you know, and so you can. So it's been very interesting. Very interesting.
So I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to do a souvenir of the tapestry. And, you know, if I make a big pillow out of it, who cares?
You're going to be so excited.
I am so excited over this. It's
going to be your favorite. It's going to be your favorite pillow on the couch.
I know. So I did not work on my dress. I worked on those two things. I was hoping to finish the socks for today. That didn't happen. I'm not quite sure why.
Have you been playing a lot of Animal Crossing and
Pokemon?
Pokemon?
No, my foot hurt. Well, I did play a lot of Animal Crossing.
But we did warn you all, by the way, that this was going to become a problem when we got Switches, and that this was not going to be as prolific of a knitting conversation.
But the other problem is that my foot has shown up as a problem.
I'm just letting you, if anyone is making comment, you know, to themselves about how we talk about video games more, yes, and we did warn you because this is a thing in our lives.
We like doing it.
We do, and it's been fun because we've been able to play it together.
Yes, we can play. In this game, you can visit each other's islands.
In Animal Crossing, yes.
In Animal Crossing, yes. So rather than just telling someone how you're doing, you could actually go and see.
Yep.
Which is great fun.
Yes.
And we got to see a third person's island last night, which is really fun. And then I have a friend of yours who is now a bestie of mine on the game who keeps tagging me with notes.
Sending you things?
Sending me things, tagging me with notes, seeing me when I get on. Hi there! I'm going, I'm not used to people noticing when I'm doing anything.
That also might be an auto thing, because it automatically says, hi, I'm online, when you log on for any of the people you've connected to as friends, just so you know.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Well, she says other things too.
Oh, then yeah. Just saying hi.
So really, that's really nice. It's almost like having a conversation.
Yeah.
So yes, that did happen, but I've had a little run-in with my foot.
What kind of run-in?
Well, in 1978, which is many years ago.
Hold on. I love how I prefaced it just to give you some to lead up, as in the last few months. No, we are going back to before I existed.
In 1978, we were in an apartment that had a walk-in closet, and sometime after midnight, I woke up and went, I need that thing for work. I can't even tell you what it is now. But Richard was asleep beside me, so I decided not to turn on the light, but to walk into the walk-in closet, shut the door, and then turn on the light, so I get the thing and put it by the door, so I would remember to take it to work. Well, in the dark, all of me except my right foot made it into the walk-in closet. The right foot went slam into the door jamb. And boy, did I wake Richard up when I was screaming and sunk to the floor. It hurt so bad.
Because you broke your toe.
I did. I stove it in. I didn't just break it. I shoved it backward. So I broke the toe and I damaged the joint. But, you know, being young, that night I went over to Richard's dental office and was upside down in the dental chair so he could take an x-ray of this.
Oh, yeah, because you totally would do that these days.
No, I wouldn't do it now, but I did it then.
I know, and it just...
And we said, well, it's broken, so we'll just tape it.
Oh, my God.
And Who's to say it would have been any better, because this was done 40-some years ago. Now, I certainly think it would be better if I went to see the doctor and they did it correctly. Who knows? Anyway, for 20 years it was fine. And then about year 21, I thought I had gout because it was starting to hurt me.
Yes.
Anyway, through the past 20 years, I've been working with various orthotics or inserts. I've had it broken twice.
Yeah, I was going to say, you had it broken, and then you had it broken and the joint broken and reformed.
Yeah, I've had it shaved. I had a colectomy. I've had a number of things done to it to help extend the ability to walk on that foot. Well, about 10 years ago, I went to see the foot doctor at Hospital for Special Surgery, who I'd been seeing. His name was Dr. Bone. He was German, Walter Bone, Bohne. And he said, well, you've destroyed it. You know, we've done everything. You've destroyed it. There's nothing you can do. We could go in and we could fuse it, but then it would be fused in one position. I said, no, I'd rather not. So we got up-to-date, high-tech orthotics, which I've worn for the past 10 years. And I would take into the foot doctor, whoever I was seeing at the time, and say, oh, they look fine. Well, a shortcut to last week for the last couple of weeks of physical therapy, my right side has been incredibly tight and getting tighter. I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Well, I realized we switched my exercises and we've been working on balance. And so the physical therapist wants me to pronate or walk forward off the front of my right foot. I don't do that. I haven't done that in at least 20 years. I walk kind of off to the side. Well, which makes me wobble, but then if no one's watching me, I think I look okay. Because I'm not limping on the left anymore. No, they want me to walk correctly. We've been trying that for the past couple weeks, and finally last week, my whole right side was so sore, so tight and so sore. I said, we cannot keep doing this. So then they looked at my orthotic. They decided it was wrong. They tried a foam pad with a hole cut in it to kind of accommodate the joint. And they said, how's that? I said, I'll let you know tomorrow if it's better. Well, the next day I could barely walk. It hurt so bad, so bad. So that idea was not a good idea. That was Thursday. So Thursday I called, that same day I called, and the present foot doctor and said, I need to talk to you about new orthotics. I am in pain. Went to see him on Friday. I have now partially paid for new orthotics. They're going to see if any of the health insurance pays for it. I know that when I was working, it partially paid for it. So we'll see if any of the various and sundry medical insurances I have would pay for it. If not, I'll pay for the whole thing. Anyway, in 3 weeks, I should have a new pair of orthotics. The high-tech material I have is not what is high-tech now. So hopefully, they said it's a little springier what we have, so it won't be such a hard rock down on that particular area of my foot, which is the knuckle of my big toe, which is the problem because you really do balance off the big toes of your feet.
Yes. So we have learned.
That's what I damaged. So anyway, it's been hurting. Now, it doesn't hurt as much today as it did. And then add on the fact I can't take Advil or aspirin because I've been taking so much of it over the span of my life that my liver's not happy. So in order to keep the liver happy, we don't take those anymore. And so I've also figured out that the soreness in my knees is probably not much at all if I was able to take the level of Advil that I was normally taking, which I popped 2 aspirin or 2 Advil every morning for the past 40 years. Yep. And went through my day because, I would be heading into work and a headache would start. And I just popped 2 of those and it would hold it down. It was worth it. So the good news is my knees are doing much better because I know that if I was able to take those, they would feel better. I can't. So they feel about the same as, some previous time. But I'm not limping on my left leg anymore.
Which is very good.
Which is great.
You're walking a lot better.
Was limping. And now with new orthotics, we have the chance of walking more closely, correctly on the right foot.
Without pain.
Without pain. And we'll work on the physical therapist to have them understand this is as good as we're going to get. in terms of where I can walk on the foot, and we'll just work around it.
I think they forget how old you are.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so I think that's a real plus. So part of the reason I haven't been updating the Instagram is I've been off to the doctor's office and then kind of icing my foot and all that other kind of stuff. But I'm feeling pretty good. Things are moving forward. This is not a complaint at all. I'm excited about their new orthotics. So cool. They don't have you stand in a bed of like polystyrene little tiny balls anymore, or sand. You walk over an electronic pad, and you walk over it one way, and you walk back the other way, and then you stand on it, and you do this twice. And the software will allow them to build a 3D model of my foot.
Are there cameras also? Maybe?
I'm not, all I know is it's in one particular room.
All she knows is she didn't have to stick her foot in sand.
Right. I was ready to. This was fine. The x-rays did show that there are all kinds of bone spurs. So when the doctor first tried to flicked my toe, it seemed it had movement. But then when he looked at the x-ray, he came back and pushed back and put load on the joint. It didn't move at all. He goes, yeah, your bone spurs, when you have weight on it, they lock together. I went, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So anyway, that's going to come along. So that's really good. So for this week, I plan to finish my socks. I'm going to work more on my counter cross stitch. What a surprise. And I know that I have my dress in the bag and I have gloves. So once the socks are out of the way, I will try to work on one more panel of the dress. And if I get a panel done, then I will go back and circle around back to the gloves. Get those done. So keep moving ahead on those kind of things.
I think my goal, well, obviously I will finish the blanket as much as I can with the yarn I have. Because I think I used almost that whole 11 grams for that one pickup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So maybe it's a 2-color garter ridge.
Well, that would be pretty.
It'd be fun. With the middle color as the second. But then I will definitely need to reach out to Knit for a second, for a third ball of the lightest color for the edge, to do the picot edge.
Do they have a fair amount of it when you bought it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
So I will send a message. And then I'm hoping to get this, what's in here is
Pengweeno.
the Pengweeno. So I would like to get that Pengweeno done. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping to just get a whole bunch of things still moving. I'd like to catch up on my needlepoint stitch along.
Yes.
And I'd like to get Hawaii. I'm a little bit behind on Hawaii, but yeah, I'd like to be able to get some things out. I did some stitching on something else this week that's a gift for a bunch of people. Like, I'm going to make multiples, and it's going to be a gift for multiple people.
Okay.
But I will wait and I'm making one for myself, so I will wait until I end up being able to send those out to show you all. But I finally, something I have had planned for like 1.5 to 2 years.
What?
So, I'll tell you after. In case anyone who's getting one watches.
Oh, okay.
And I finally I had a moment a few days ago at work, while I was working at home, where nothing was working.
Take a break.
Yeah, nothing was working. I had meetings that the people who needed to show up didn't show up and didn't tell us that they weren't going to show up or that they were running late. And so I got really frustrated.
That's
as one does. Yes, as one does. They apologized the next day.
It's so easy to send a text or an email just to keep everybody apprised, especially if there are multiple people going to a meeting.
Exactly. And they're virtual meetings, so it's not that we can't, like, that we're all going to the same room, or the room is booked,
Right.
So I got frustrated, and so I turned around in my home office to my cross-stitch and needlepoint and such bin that was there, and I saw it there, and I was like, we're going to see if this works out. And it started to work out.
Cool.
So,
that's very good.
Yeah, but it was one of those moments where I was like, this is not what I should be doing right now. But this is what I'm going to do until I stop being kind of really mad.
Mm. The other thing I wanted to mention was Alexander McQueen.
Oh, yes.
They are showing
the spring knit collection.
That's
is
right.
Amazing.
And it's big wool, biggish wool boleros.
There are wool boleros. They're calling it a corseted top where it has a like ribbed detail throughout the body. And
they're
it's
selling
really
for
lovely.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Oh, completely. It's outrageous.
You could make this.
Yeah.
If I can make it, you can make it. Take a look. Go to his website, Alexander McQueen, and look at the work that they're doing. First of all, it's great that they're recognizing, knitting to be used in high fashion. And secondly, you can do this.
Yeah.
You can do this for pennies on the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really good. The other thing I wanted to mention is that this is the last day of February. And so if you're thinking about making knitted things for the spring and the summer, now's the time to switch to your half wool, half cotton.
Or your linens, or your silks.
Exactly.
I mean,
or
honestly,
acrylic.
your silks could be, and your silks, really, your silks and your linens could be worn throughout the year because they have insulating properties, which means that they keep you warm when you're cold, and so they keep the heat to your body when you need that insulating, but they also allow it to breathe when you are too warm and the outside air is warm. They're both very interesting fibers, but they're both insulating in that way that they keep your temperature regulation much closer to what you would prefer.
Right. And then you will see this.
Yes.
That's acrylic.
Yes.
And that's for the little one.
Yes.
So I'm thinking that after I finish my gloves, that I will figure out something to make with that.
Yes, I have a few things that I want to make for her.
That's just humongous.
It is.
And it needs to be made into something.
It does.
So,
and she's a little fashionista.
Yes, she is. She is. So cute.
She's adorable.
So with that, I think that we've
come to the end of our row.
We're going to
leave in some ends, and we'll talk to you all next week.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.